Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So I'm going to be showing you how I cut and sew this stylish gown or top. I used 3 yards of fabric for it, so for yours you might use less or use more, you understand? Hi guys, my name is Fatima. If you're on this platform I share sewing tutorials, don't forget to subscribe, and if there's something like to learn, let's get straight into it. Like I said, I used 3 yards of fabric. This is the vintage fabric. You can use plain fabric, you can use Dutch scrap. You can even use Ankara, you can use Adire if you want. So I have 3 yards, right? I'm going to measure 1 yard, then I'll fold it 3 times so that I will have my 3 yards. But if you want to know amount to fold, measure your full hip circumference and then you add 12 to 15 inches to it. That should do for you in case you're managing fabric. But me, I just wanted easy way out, so I'll be folding it into 3. I'm going to remove 1 yard for sleeve, and I'll be using 2 yards for the skirts. Sorry, not skirt, for the top or the gown. So I've done that here, and this is it on the floor, right? So we have 3 layers, so we have 1 yard each. So I'll just cut off 1 piece from it, so I'll have 2 yards for the gown. But like I said, you can just go ahead and measure your full hip circumference, and then you add about 15 inches and you're good to. The 1 yard will be for sleeve, then the 2 yard I'll just go ahead and fold it into 2. I'll give it 2 folds the way I normally fold my fabric, so I have 4 layers. So this will be for the gown, right? And there's something I'm going to tell you guys while I'm drafting. You will get to that. So I'll folded it, I'll place it on my work floor surface as usual, my floor, right? So the length of the gown is not my full length. This fabric was not my full length, so I'll just be using everything like that, and I will not be hemming the down part. So this roughy part, I feel like it should be at the upper part, and then the smooth edge should be at the down part. So I went ahead to measure. As you can see, it's not even up to 60. That's one thing with fabric length, especially when you have height, there's always a problem. So I'll just turn it over like this so that that roughy edge will be at my shoulder, and then the not roughy edge will be at the down part, since I'm not hemming the down part. But in case you have your full length, add about 2 inches or 1.5 inches allowance so that I can use that to stitch and hem. I went ahead to mark my shoulder, divide by 2. I had 8. Yours might not be 8, please. So from that 8, I'll go ahead and mark my vertical lines. I have a detailed video where I explain how to get vertical lines. I'll drop the link in the description box. So I marked 9 inches for my bust line, then I went to 16 inches for my waistline. That's like your half length. That you should use that for your waist instead of using 18. Then I went to 24 inches for my hip. So those are my vertical lines. Then I'll just extend them to have my horizontal lines, right? After doing that, now go, then after your hip line, then the next line should be the full length you want for the gown or the top, plus your additional allowance. My bust line, I'm going to impute my shoulder divided by 2 again. Like I said earlier, mine is 8, yours might not be 8, you understand? So I'll join the 2 8s together with a straight line like this, right? Good. Then after doing that, the next thing to do is I'm going to mark out my neckline. I used 3.5 by 3 inches. I didn't want it to be too deep, so please make use of any dimension you are okay with, and can use V neckline instead of round like mine. But I used 3.5 inches by 3 inches for both back and front, right? Now I went down 1 inch from that my shoulder measurement. I went down 1 inch, and I'll use that to form my shoulder slope. For me, shoulder slope is easy. Just place your ruler from that 1 inch slantly to meet the width of your neckline. Now on my bust line, I divided my bust by 4. It gave me 9.5. I marked it. Yours might not be 9.5. Yours might be lesser or more. Then I included my allowance 2.5 inches, right? On my waist, same thing. I divided my waist by 4. It gave me 7.5. Added my 2.5 inches allowance. My hip, I divided by 4. Then I added 3 inches allowance. So here is one mistake I made. I feel like the gown should have been like a line instead of including your waist, your hip measurement. So if you have enough fabric, even if it's not enough, the thing is just don't make the hip area curvy. So I added the allowances. I used 3 inches for all the lines. So for bust 3, for waist 3 inches, for my hip I used 3.5. I decreased it to 3. Later was I still use that 3.5. So I'll join the points together, right? So this is it, and I'll make sure the angle at the waistline is curvy, not pointed. So here is what I'm saying. I increase it to 3.5. That's what I'll be using. I'll take it straight down. While taking it straight down, right, make sure that the angle on your hip is not curvy. I don't know how to put it. Just make sure it's not too curvy. Mine was too curvy. It was even when I wore the dress, I noticed it. So it was pointing out because it's not a fitted gown, and I didn't replace both sides with gathers. So make sure it's not too pointed. It's not too curvy. So you can use 2.5 inches allowance or 2 inches for that hip area. Then I went ahead to form my armhole curve. I'll be using a very simple armhole curve for both back and front. Same thing. I didn't do different armhole curve in this case. So that's what I did. Just use your free hand. If you have your French curve, just use it to draw out your armhole curve. And we are done drafting. We are about like 50% done drafting. Yes, 50%. I'll just go ahead and cut out my piece. I'm done cutting, and this is what we have, right? Good. Now for the curvy part of the gown, I'm going to measure from my waist. I'll measure downward 4.5 inches. Well, you can do 4, you can do 3.5. I wanted doing 4, but others that's 0.5 because I'll be hemming that part. So it depends on how open you want that place to be. So I went 4. Then at this down part, I'll be imputing my nipple to nipple measurement by 2. I had 4 because the slant effect should be at your nipple side. Now at the hip line, I went down 5 inches. It also depends on how low high you want it to be. Then inward of that 5 inches, I will still impute that my 4 inches that I marked at the down part for that my nipple to nipple divide by 2. Yours might not be 4, please. So measure and divide by 2. So I'll join the 4 inches with a straight line, right? After doing that, then I'll just take it from that 5 inches. I'll take it to meet that 4.5 inches that is around that is above the hip line with a curve. So here is one thing. I wanted mine like this, but if you don't want yours like that, you can, at the down part, you can mark maybe 1 inch, right? Then at that 5 inches, maintain your nipple to nipple divide by 2. Then you take it from that nipple to nipple divide by 2. You take it a slant line to meet the down part that you marked 1 or 2 inches. So that will give it a slanty effect instead of a straight line that I have. Now we have 4 layers, right? I'm cutting this on only one part. So I'm going to leave the fabric up one part or one piece, please, and I'll cut it off, not all. In case you have a specific side you want this your curve to be, please put that into consideration. Mine was on the right part, on the right side. If you want left, you should know how you are going to do your markings, please. So now I only said one piece, right? In case you want to do gathers for yours, I have a video on that I did gathers for both sides. I'll drop the link. It also work for this. Instead of using 2 sides, this one is one piece. You just use splash and spread method. I'll drop the link in the description box. Now I'll open up my fabric. I'll join the shoulders together, bias my neckline. You can create your bias from your fabric, but I'll be using my bias. So doing that, right, then I'm going to hem the front piece only. This curvy part, I'm going to hem it. You fold in 0.5 and hem it separately, please. I've done all that. I joined the shoulders, I biased my neckline, then I hemmed this curvy part, right? After doing that, the next thing is to fix our sleeve that I'm yet to cut. I'm just going to go ahead and measure my full sleeve opening, everything I have here in the armhole part. I'm going to measure it and divide it by 2, so that's what I'll be using to cut out my sleeve. I will be needing 13 inches, right, after everything. So that's going to be the wideness of my sleeve. It can even be more because it's an A-line, more of like a bell sleeve, A-line sleeve, a wide free sleeve. So you can have more because of the wideness of the sleeve that I want. So now this is my 1 yard of fabric that I removed at the beginning, right? So I'm going to fold it in a way that I'm going to get the desired length I want and then the width I want. So my full sleeve length should be around 23-24 inches, depends on how long I want it to be, right? So you're going to minus, because you're adding a band to it if you want to. You'll be adding a band to it. So let's say your sleeve length is 22. You want to add a band of 3 inches. So you should be measuring out about 19.5 inches for this part. So I'll just go ahead and fold in, get the measurement I want. This is it, is too wide, so I'm going to decrease it to that 13. Like I said, you can even use more than the armhole you measured, but you just, so that the down part of the sleeve can be wide enough. So now I measured that 13, as you can see here, right? Then I'll cut off the excess. When I'm okay with what I have, I'll cut off the excess. After cutting off the excess, I'm going to turn it so that I will work with wrong face. You know, right face should be meeting right face. So you do your markings on the wrong face, right? So this is what I have. I'm going to measure what I have so that you guys can see. Now I'm going to measure down my 13 inches, right? I'm going to measure it. Like I said, you can have it wider than your armhole measurement. Now, one side is closed, the other side is open, right, for the sleeve. Then the side that is open, downward, I'm going to go down by 3. There's actually a calculation for this, but 3, 4 is okay. For most sizes, it will be okay. There's also a calculation to actually calculate this curve, but you can use your freehand to just sketch out an X curve like this. Just use your freehand, you're good to go. This is not like a fitted sleeve that you need to follow basic formulas. Now, downward, I'm going to measure 12 inches. Then I'll extend it. From that 12, I'll go up, I'll measure 9 inches, right? And on that 9 and 12, I'm going to mark 10 inches. Depends on how wide you want the sleeve to be, how free. But I feel like 10 will be okay. So I measured that 10. Then from that, my curvy part, I took a curve to meet the 10 straight line. Then from that 12, I'm taking a slant line downward. So it's more like, is it like a bell sleeve type of sleeve? Yeah. So we are done drafting here. The down parts also give me 13, but you can have more than 13 at the down part if you want. Then I'll just go ahead and cut out my piece. And this is what I have, right? So I'll notch the middle piece for both back and front, because that would help you when you're fixing the sleeve to the body, to the gown. Now, you know, I told you that the sleeve will have like a band, a joining. I'll use the remaining fabric that I have, everything. I'll just split it into 2, fold each for each sleeve, right, to complete my sleeve length. That's why I say you make your measurements, do your calculations, so you can know what you want for the longer part and what you want for the shorter part. So after adding my sleeve, this is what I'm going to get, about 23-24 inches when I'm done stitching. So I'll split it into 2 and fold each for each sleeve. Open up my sleeve, fold it, place it right face facing right face, and use 0.5 inch to stitch for both sleeves. I've done that here. I'll just cut off the excesses I have, right, and our sleeve is ready to be stitched to the body of our gown. Now this is my gown. I'm going to open it up right face, then I'm going to place my sleeve right face on the right face of this gown, making sure that notch that I notched aligns with my shoulder line on that my gown. Then I'll stitch from that middle to the left and middle to the right using 0.5 inch. I will do that for both sleeve. Even if you have excess, you can cut it off when you're done. Now I already created a belt 30 inches long and the width is 2 inches. I'll place it above my waistline. You can place it on your waistline, but a little bit above, and then I'm going to stitch it to both sides, right? So that's what I will do. Someone asked how I did that. After doing that, after stitching the sleeve, this is the length I had, as you can see, 23 inches, right? Then I stitch in this direction. I use 0.5 inch to stitch all through in this direction for both left and right, right? Then now, you know, this part, this back piece is not hemmed, so I just fold in 0.5 and I hemmed it all through. Then you can go ahead and hem the down part of your gown. I decided to try mine on with this skirt and it was looking nice, but in case you want the one that you can stitch the pleats together with the gown, I'll drop the link in my description box. I tried up with my trouser, it was nice too. I tried with my straight skirt and it was so lovely. And if you want, you can actually do the curvy part at both sides. It's also one of the style. So thank you all for watching. If this video has been helpful in one way or the other, like I always say, don't forget to subscribe, like my video, drop a comment, and I'll see you guys in another video.